Welcome everyone to this episode of Worldbuilding, and today I'm here with Zach, and we're here to
Um,
talk about something we're very passionate about, and that we're super excited to talk to you about. I barely can say how happy we are about where this project is right now. So Zach, uh,
well, then that's some way to hype it up. We're releasing a pretty big update for BFD. I think it will be a really good update. We made a lot of especially changes that will make the game, uh, we do believe, way better. It's all thanks to you guys, everyone who play tested, and everyone that helps us on a regular basis by trying the game and playing and everything. You really help us out there. Thank you very much to all of those people. The game is available for free. The new update is just releasing. It has a lot of changes that will make everything more readable, more fun, easier to check every rules, and just in general,
yeah,
it's just
well,
going to
I
be.
actually will go through all the changes that were made. There is an update log. Oh, first of all, before we start on that, let's go on one thing that I wanted to share with you guys, which is our new website. Just let me find this. Okay, so
It's new since last week.
yeah, we just updated our website, so you can go on there and see all of our latest projects, find all of our links, all in one place. You can see all the films we worked on or are working on. Actually, there are more than that we're working on, but we're waiting to have at least a poster before we add it on the website. We have the shows, the music, and obviously, and most importantly, we have Battle for Diratia on the
Most
website.
importantly.
So you can go
Well,
there, find the introduction. You can download the game from here. It's always going to be the latest version for free. You can just click download here. Um, and you have the update log and the FAQ there. You can learn more about Diratia, and you can find two important things. So you have our scenarios like Queen's Visit, and you have also the new thing that we just started doing. We
mhm.
have the new pre-built characters that you can download. So you have for now we just have Dalen that we did. So we created the character sheet for Dalen Namarin that you can download, and you can play Dalen Namarin with the Battle for Diratia system. And you can also buy the miniature if you want to have him on the
If you
board,
have a 3D printer,
if you have a 3D printer, obviously. But
which is not everyone.
we have at least three other characters coming soon. We're just waiting for the miniatures to be ready to release the characters on the pre-built site, so you can go there and find them. Again, all the pre-built character sheets are free, so you can just get them and start playing.
So that was a pretty big intro. Yeah, we're really happy about that. I really can't wait for people to start playing it. Do you want to just get out the log from the website, and we'll pass one point by
Yeah,
from the
that's what I'm
other?
gonna do. But first, I just want to look at the chat. Uh, okay, so I'm sorry, Misty Wolf, you can't stay, but thanks for dropping in. It's super
Yes, thank you
appreciated.
very much.
Uh,
You always good support from you.
yeah, and yes, watching Lord of the Rings is a great thing, John Michael. So keep doing that. Uh, well, you can pause it in while we're live and go back to watching it after. Okay, so
Yeah,
uh,
it is really fun to watch.
let's jump right into it, I guess. So let's look at a few different updates that we just added to Battle for Diratia. So um, here we go. So here's the version 2.0. Obviously, not much changed on the cover. So let's go right to the first update, which is the mass warfare chapter. So the army warfare. Uh, Basically, it allows you to, with the exact same rules, to play any game from 1v1 up to 2 mil of more than that. You can play like 1 billion versus 1 billion if you want.
Yep.
Basically,
Yes,
because
and,
you can get up to a million units on one stand.
I mean, it's pretty hard, but you could, yeah. You could just put sand on it and say that each grain is a unit and just do it like that, and that it would work still. It is a
Well, it's
good
more
system.
at this point. It's more like an when you have a large world map, and you have one figure representing an army.
Yep.
That's more like it. And at this scale, it would even be in space. So you could have a large army in a spaceship moving from one place to another.
So yeah, we did try it out. It works super well. So it's a fun thing that the system is just able to expand to larger armies. That's one of the things. The game was mainly designed for skirmish, but when we started checking out, we were like, well, we can just expand it really easily without changing the system. So it's really fun, and we're really happy to be able to do that. And it's since Dalen thinks of everything in a really mathematical way, well, all he had to do is just multiply, right?
Well,
if you add multipliers, well, you can do larger.
It's not that simple. The calculations that I had to do create that table and the conversions and make it realistic was not just a multiply and that's it.
No, it's a bit more complicated.
There's a bit more nuance in it.
Mm-hmm.
And it was in the plan all along to do this army warfare chapter.
Yeah.
What you have to understand about Battle for Diratia is that our goal is to have the role-playing or wargaming system that is the most versatile possible. So obviously we won't have the best experience for something very specific like skirmish warfare of the Civil War in the 1800s and that's it, nothing else. Or army warfare in the Roman era. Well, if you have a game that's very specific to that, it's probably going to be a bit better for this experience. But as a DM, as a player, what I want is to have one system that can do it all, so that I don't have to learn a new set of rules each time that I want to play with my friends. I can just jump in, take my rules, and I know that they can apply each and every time.
Mm-hmm. Which is one of the things we did like about GURPS, which we told in our last tabletop review. By the way, check our tabletop review. We're super proud, and we like those videos. They're great. People like them, which is really cool. It's just that they have almost no views, but that's still.
We don't understand. Like, our Dragon Rampant review is super good. Everyone seems to like it, but it has no views. So, so if you want,
especially if you compare to Among Us, like I reorchestrated the team from Among Us, and we got way more views than everything else. And then I'm like, well, tabletop review, I worked as hard on it, so I would hope that it will work as well. But it's always a bit more complicated.
It's not the same audience.
Yeah, that's true. I like doing both, though. So what's the next thing that we updated? Can you just go back?
Yeah, we have updated the beast. So we added the upkeep cost directly onto each and every beast in the bestiary. We also added images. You're gonna see them throughout the book. We added a lot of photos of miniatures.
The elephant is really beautiful, by the way. I'm just telling you.
Oh, and by the way, this elephant you can get on my mini
Yes, I know. That's why would
I'm
say
sorry, I have to plug it.
that's fine.
Shameless plug.
Yeah, that's okay.
But yeah, so it's just to make it simpler for you to you can just go here and you don't have to calculate the cost yourself. Even though it's a
Yeah.
simple calculation, it's
It's
already done
fun to
for you.
have it. Yeah, I totally agree. That's the thing. So as we were saying, a lot of the updates are really in the playability of the game. So a lot is in the language, how we added links. So we added a lot of links that when we reference something, you can just click on the reference. It will bring you back to the right place. We have a lot of things like that. We merge some rules together to make it more simple. And now I think we removed like 4 page, something like that, just of text. And we added more images. So it's really easier to read right now. So it's a good way a good time to start playing if you want to. I
Okay,
really think.
one thing I'm gonna say right now is okay. You see, we're at page 78, and there's a total of 96 pages in the rule book.
Mhm.
But don't get intimidated by that if you aren't used to big rule books of role playing or war games, um, because most of that is like here. It's just
It's
a
tables.
list and tables of additional stuff that you can use. Okay, so next, and that goes right. That's perfect with the next thing that's on the list is the new uh,
Just stay on that page.
options. The new options for the units. So we added weapons to every pre-built unit in
Mhm.
the game, so that you don't have to add the weapons yourselves.
Yeah.
You can do it if you want them to have different weapons, different armors, but we have them already pre-built with the costs included, and all the stats changed for you. So that's
Mhm.
really practical. That makes it easy if you want to jump into a game. You can just grab a centaur with a flintlock pistol and do a game with that if you
Yep.
want.
And it's a really good way also if you want to build armies because you have all the upkeep cost of units that are already fully built. So what you can do is just if you have an idea for an army, you just take the unit that you want, calculate how much upkeep it would cost. So you will have the cost of your army, and then you have an army ready to go for a game of wargaming. It's really good for wargaming. For sure, it's also good for DM to make creatures and everything. If you want to play as a player, I would recommend creating your own character and not taking one of those, but it's always up to you. And I also want to add that even if Dalen was really reluctant at first, I was able to call the Minotaur the Planeswalker
Well,
because
it's not
they're in
just the
planes.
Minotaur. It's the
Yes, I know,
because
but it's still, I'm so happy that you didn't remove it. You really tried to remove it because it was like, that's the dumbest joke ever, but I still find it pretty cool that it's the Planeswalker. So here is here is Planeswalker.
so the planeswalkers are the minotaurs and centaurs. So because we wanted to do kind of factions for the pre-built units. You don't have to use specifically just planeswalkers
Yeah, exactly.
together, but or the wild
So
tribe together.
yeah,
But
we just have a question in the chat. What aspect did y'all make more simple? So I think the main thing is really in language. So the language was simplified. Phrases are shorter. I had to change a lot of that, and also some of the rules were just crammed together. So if you go back to the original rule, just go to the actions and others.
uh,
If you can just go back there, because that's really simpler now on how it's written and also just how it looks and everything. You'll see because
uh,
all you'll need to read
the
would
turn
be yeah,
order.
yeah, exactly. If you check that, this is like half of the text that it used to be. And
Yeah, and
we changed
it
also all the action to be only one word. So instead of saying like, oh, the action I will use would be, I don't know, joining a
changed.
formation is
Yeah,
just called join. So it's really easier to understand.
it's
And
a
as you
small
see, like
thing, but
yeah, like during the tactics phase, you can do a contest. Well, contest is highlighted in blue, so you can click on it. It will bring you at the right place. We have a lot of this. You see, like flanking. If you click on flanking, it will bring you to flanking. So all these things just to make the game simpler to follow through. I think that's the biggest part of the update. It's really from feedback we receive from players, and I think that's pretty important to continue being open with players, and that's why we want to do the game like that too, and why we show every step of the way, because most game company would do everything in house, but for us, we're just two people and we're a small team, so we work as a community. It's way better for us to do it that way for sure.
Yeah,
So
Zach,
yes, that's
Zach
how we made it
wants
simple.
us to make a physical copy of
Yes.
the game, which we're gonna do eventually. Okay, I'm gonna
Maybe.
do it just for Zach. So there's gonna be a copy for Zach, and
Yeah, he's just gonna print it on his printer and tape it together. Here's your physical copy. I always prefer having physical copy for sure.
no, we're
Um,
eventually gonna
yeah,
make a physical copy, but
yeah, but it's
uh,
not now. It's
first we want to iron the game out
a
more.
lot,
Um,
especially through play. That's the thing that we miss the most is how much play we can make because of
yeah,
the
because we
global.
can't
Yeah, we can
meet.
meet together, which is really annoying because we want to play the game, but it's kind of complicated. Uh, we did try to play on the Roll20, which was pretty weird, but we did manage to, so that's fine to test army warfare. But yeah, so we're still ironing out some stuff, but it's not all from actual play. We want to do more actual play for sure, but it's hard to get together. Um, I
Yeah,
decided to change it.
I used to have my role playing games 8 hours a week, and
Yeah,
and now it's like 1 hour a week if I'm lucky. So
yeah, that's usually what happens. That yeah, did lose a lot. So, what else is updated? If you want to just show us the next part. So,
uh okay, so we added a few rules for height and for uh,
oh, the new images, right? That's new too, right? From this update.
yeah, for almost all the images were revamped. We added new, better images, better graphics. That's already mentioned, but yeah, I was just mentioning that we added height and the uphill bonuses. So if you are going uphill against enemies, you get a disadvantage. Um, we also clarified the basics. So if we go back to the basics, we added a few rules here. We clarified how the dice work. We
Yeah, we
put a
changed
link
also.
to download our free 3D printable dice. Um,
We also made the example with the actual dice, the Diratia, the BFD dice, which Dalen didn't want to do much at first, but I really think it's a big part of the game. If ever we get any physical copy or anything, the first thing we'll do is dice for sure, because we like the concept and we build the whole system around it. So, well, if you have a 3D printer, they're free. So just download a couple of dice and print them out. I really recommend it. I still use D6 because I don't have a 3D printer. It works well with D6 for sure, but if you have access to the 3D printer, for sure do it. It's really worth it.
yeah, if you want, Zach, I can make you dice.
Yes, I know, but we can't see each other. So,
um, apart from that, oh, the morale that we revamped the morale phase.
yeah,
So I'm really happy about this one. I really like how we did
yeah,
it.
it really helps. Uh,
It's the fourth version of the morale for the
I
game
think
already.
I think it's the best version because it's the fourth version because we tried every version and we really wanted a certain number of units to flee, but not too much. It was really hard to balance, but we were
Uh,
able to find a good balance.
okay, for those uninitiated, balance for morale in a game is freaking hard
Yeah,
because it's really easy to just make it a bit too hard, and all of your units flee instantaneously, and it's not fun for anyone because you don't want all your troops to be fleeing all the time. And you
Yeah,
have the
which we
opposite, where it's too the morale is not low enough, and so that the troops stay there until everyone is dead. And basically at that point you're almost better off not making a morale system, because if everyone stays there, it's the same thing as if you didn't have a morale system, and it's just complicating things for nothing. And I think having a morale system is really, really important, because it is something that has a big impact in warfare. It is not accounted for in many role-playing games and in a lot of skirmish games. But I'm sorry, if you see 3 of your friends get shot in the head, I think you might turn and run.
Yeah, most people would. And that's the thing that we wanted to do, is just we didn't want to have a game where everyone fight to the death all the time, which is what most game are. And we didn't want to have a game where you have no control over your unit, like Lions Rampant, which we talk in the Lions Rampant review that you should check it out because we're super proud of it. But yeah, so that's it. We really wanted to find a balance between the two, because most systems don't have morale at all. Like if you play Dungeon and Dragon, they don't have morale. It's just like, oh, everybody fights to the death all the time. Like you have 6 goblin and you're like 5 fully geared adventurer, and they'll try to attack you. And if you kill half their friend, they're just gonna stay there and get killed more for some reason. I don't know. It's just how it works there. And then on the opposite, you have Lions Rampant, where it's like, oh, one of your guy died. The rest of your army is now on autopilot. You're like, what the hell? So it was hard to find the thing. And at first, that was one of the issue we had, was we had too many units that would get shaken all the time, which means that you lost too much control and you didn't have a good way to rally them. But then once we hardened the rally maneuvers and changed all of that and just made it more clear and more consistent, it worked well. I'm going to really applaud Dayland on the morale loss system, where if you have really big armies, it's really worth doing it. It's really worth calculating it, because people will flee more if the opposite army is double their side, but they won't all flee. So he was able to balance it, which is great. And one of his tests is always 300, which if you can balance 300, well, you were able to make it. So yeah, I'm really happy you did that for sure. It was impossible to understand in the first version. I had to rewrite pretty much everything, but now I think it's pretty clear. But the idea was so amazing, and I'm still super happy about that. That's one of the biggest things I was really happy about for this release. Was the morale system. It's so good. It's just, and the way the phases are now, it's so much more simple, so much more intuitive to play, and how it's written and everything. So anyway, we're just really happy. We worked really hard on it, and we're really happy to give it all to you for free, because that's what we do. I'm just happy if people play that system. That's all. More chicken leg. Emilio, you didn't miss much. We're just still talking about the game. This is a world building live, so it's what we're talking about is the new release. Get it? It's free. Just go get the game for free. It's the first link. They didn't put in the description.
I really like what Zach said earlier. Is like, why don't people try it out? It's
you free. Don't have to. I told you that in private. You just.
Yeah, and yeah. I think it's a really good point. Like, if you are interested at all in role-playing games or war games, just download the rule book, take a look at it. Like, the first thing I mentioned at the start of the book is you don't have to read all of it, and almost nobody will. So you just have to read. We made it so that with just the combat chapter,
play.
so just these 3 pages, you can have a small duel. It's not going to be very complex, but you can do it.
Yeah, with 3 page.
Then after that, with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, with 5 additional pages, you have all of the rules to do a whole turn or battle. Again, you won't have all of the small modifiers that will give more depth to your battle, but you can do it.
Which is really cool because also our game doesn't have specific miniatures. So just go at your dollar store, buy the most basic miniatures, and get the game for free, and it will cost you $2, and you'll have a really good war game. So
if,
you know,
if you want to be, if you have a 3D printer, you can get a set of miniatures. I'm not talking about ours. I'm just saying.
I was sure you weren't starting to plug your miniatures again. No. I was like, oh my god. By the way, if you go to https
no, okay,
my mini factory, that product's in there.
No, but you can easily print for a few dollars 20 miniatures and have a good amount of miniatures to play. Or for $40, I think you can get a Perry miniature set of like 30 miniatures.
Yeah,
for $40. So and you have 30 miniatures that can all fit in an army.
If you want to try, and our system works for future stuff. So even if you were thinking about trying 40K, I would recommend
your 40K miniatures if you want to pay overprice and.
Okay. What I meant is you can buy generic futuristic units and then use our system, and instead of paying like $400 to play 40K, you'll pay like $40.
Okay, I'm gonna go like this. My friend Joe bought $1,000 of Warhammer miniatures like 2 weeks ago.
Okay, we have two. Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
There's just 2 questions I want to go, and then we can bash on 40K for a bit. Just from Emilio, he says, what about morale of civilians? Well, the way morale works is that even if you were to be killing civilians, the civilian would have their unit flee. So morale works the same way for civilians. It's just that civilians usually have less will, but it would work. Yes, I need sleep. That's fine. I think that I worked last night. I'm working tonight. I haven't slept a lot in the past few days. I work night shift, so that's how it is.
And I make him work the rest of the day.
Not every day, but sometimes. And yeah, no one going to talk into chat. Yes, I always find it bad when people are not in the chat. For sure, you're just 2 people watching right now, so I think that's just me monitoring the chat and you, Emilio. So thank you for being there. By the way, we just wanted to talk about the release anyhow, and yeah, I do need sleep. I might sleep for a little 15 minutes before going to my 12-hour shift. But yeah, so let's bash on 40K. So our system is really cheap. The system is free, and then you can use any miniatures. And we have all pre-built characters, so you can if you find any miniatures, you will find a pre-built character in the manual that you can fit with.
Okay,
if
so
you find small soldiers or something like that, yeah.
You can go and if you have 40K miniatures, just use the here you go human elite shooter, and you put these stats on your miniatures of Warhammer Space Marines, and you can play with that. That works.
Yep, that works, and that's kind of what the image is in a way, because Dylan has like 40K like thing that he 3D printed.
Yeah, I didn't buy 40K miniatures.
I have some 40K miniatures. I do think they look great, but they're really too pricey. So yeah, you can just use any futuristic miniatures and use it like that. And as you see, everything is here. So you just either create your own unit or just find one. So you can just read the first 9 page.
Go to the pre-built units and
exactly.
Get the
find
units you want.
Any miniatures, and you can start wargaming. I think it's a really easy way to get into wargaming because you don't have to buy anything. Actually, you don't even have to buy figures if you just use 25 cents and you just want to use
Well, I
the
like
system.
the
You
I like
can.
the example that you give. If you have Legos at home, you can use Lego
Yep.
figures and
And it
just
works well. You can do
yeah.
even you can try all the system with just Legos. Then that's one of the things we wanted is that
I
we want
like
to make it
having a
accessible.
nice play area with houses of trees
Yeah,
and
but
nice miniatures, but
yeah,
I know that not everyone has access to that, and I know that. Uh,
and you might want to try it anyway.
hey,
Like,
fireman, how are you? So,
oh, we have someone else. Hey, fireman. Thank you. Yes, it is pretty cool. We're happy about the system. If you want to try it out, that'd be pretty cool. It's free, so I'm just gonna say that until it's nailed into everyone's mind.
so
Yeah,
I don't even know if people understand how much work goes into that.
I think they do. I think they do understand. Our fans are really supportive. I'm just gonna say that Emilio, Misting
Yeah.
Wolf, Maxi Phoebe is just we have such good fans that I won't want to say that they don't understand. They understand how
No,
much work they support us,
I'm not
and
saying about this.
but yeah, it does take so long. I think to understand how much work it takes, and for sure, once we'll have a stable release version, where we might reach more people. But we want everyone to try it out right now because we need your comment to make the game better. We still have the form, right, on the website.
Yep.
Can you just show where it is? Because I think it's really worth it. At least your feedback here. It's in the manual, so you can give your feedback. It's really important for us. So try the system. It's free, and then give your feedback. And for
There's
real,
a
if you
big
write
red
a good,
button.
yep, and if you give your feedback, there's almost 100% chance that we will try to make what you tell us as possible as we can, because that's how we develop the system is with your comments. So, and we don't have thousands of people playing. We have maybe 4 or 5 groups that use the system. So if you try it out and you have comments, they will be applied in the game. Like this is one thing that like we want to work as a
Yeah,
community, not just as
that's one thing
individuals.
you can be sure of. That if you send feedback to a big game developer, they might just do another. But since we're a small team and we really appreciate the people that take the time to test out our game and give us feedback. Everyone that gives us feedback, we listen to. We go
Yep.
in depth of really what their feedback is and what we can do to make the game better based on their feedback.
Like just the changing of language. That was from a feedback I got. Someone at my work that I showed in the system was like, well, a lot of the language seems too complicated for something that you want people to understand quickly. And it was like, yeah, that's right. So I changed everything in the language. So that's just how we work right now on this project. And
Yeah,
Fireman, that'd be really cool if you can try the system out for your stories for sure. If you have pretty cool stories that you want to share, that'd be great too.
I don't
I mean,
want
I'm
to
working on the scenarios, but yeah.
I don't want to compare too much to other systems, but if you read any other role-playing system or wargaming system for that matter, you will see that most points we talk about are much more condensed, and
Yeah.
we really try to make it as dense and as well, not as dense, as simple.
Dance in English is not the same thing.
Yeah, we just
Yeah, as efficient as possible.
yeah,
I think
as
that's one of
efficient
the
and as simple as possible, with by but by still keeping the depth of the. So yeah, go ahead.
So, like I was saying, this is amazing thing because I'm a big fan of BattleTech and I just received my Clan Invasion box. But this is one of the things that was really inspired by BattleTech is the fact that in their starter box they always have like a manual that lets you play the game, and the manual is like 10 pages long, and the rules are really simple. They're all clear and concise. and that's one of the inspiration I took from them, is that since they sell the game as if it was a board game, but you can use it for role play and stuff like that. But okay, so they have 4 systems that you need, but we'll talk about that in the future review. But for what they do, having simple, concise rule for me is now one of the most important thing to do. And it's something that we talk about a lot in tabletop review, is that system that we don't like usually is because the rules are too complicated, too spread apart, or they're just not understandable by everyone. So it makes the game just not playable for everyone. That's a thing that we told on pretty much every game that we reviewed, is that, well, this game is great, but you need either 400 books to play, or you need to read 700 pages to just start. And that's not fun. So we want to make a good experience for everyone. And we really hope you like it.
We want to, we plan on doing a short version of the book, and by that
to
I
the
mean
gates of hell. Yeah, I can continue. I'm just having an aneurysm.
so basically a version of the rules that are, let's say, 10 pages long. So basically you're gonna have just the basics, the turn order, and that's pretty much
the primer. The primer too. The primer is really important. I worked hard to make it as hype as possible.
Yeah, but you don't want to take more space in the short version of the book. The short version is really, you have just the most important information and that's it. So because that's pretty much all you need. So if you go into using skills, you have the task difficulty, you have modifiers for
fatigue.
So if you skip 2 nights of sleep, Zach, you have a -3 on all your actions. But you're not gonna need that all the time. You're gonna need that once in a while. So so yeah, and it all depends on what information you need for your game.
Yes, exactly.
If you're doing a game that there's no magic in, you don't need to read the magic chapter.
But the magic system is really cool. I really like it. It was inspired by dragons, right? Kind of, a bit.
Not a bit, but not that much. The goal was really to make it a bit like a puzzle. It was to really give the creativity to the people that play mages.
Yeah,
so
I think that's important.
Play a mage in Battle for Diratia, you build your own spells. So it's not, okay, you have a list of, let's go with GURPS because that's what I know. So GURPS has a manual of 300 pages of just spells. So if you want a spell, you pretty much have any spell that you may want, which is really cool. But you need to find it in a 300-page book and then read it and understand the rules for that spell and then apply it in a game.
Yep.
At first, I so much didn't want to read it that I told my players that wanted to play a mage, read it, do what you need to do to play a mage, but I won't remind you anything, or because I don't know the rules about magic and I don't want to know them.
Yeah, well, at some point there's some stuff that it's just too hard. Like even
I had to learn
pass.
them because as soon as one player started doing a mage, I do this. What? You can really do that?
Yeah. Well,
okay.
It's always a bit like that in every system where magic is complicated. I know that for Pathfinder Advanced class was really an issue for me when players were like, well, I'm gonna take this class that is in this book and then it's completely imbalanced, but I didn't know beforehand. It's kind of hard to manage like that. So I prefer creative system for sure, like Fate or Battle for the Diratia for magic.
Yeah, because basically in Battle for Diratia, let's say you're a mage. So you're a mage, you have 4 spells. So here on one page you have all the spells for a mage. That's it. That's simple. And then you can simply just every spell has a few modifiers depending on the result, depending on the effect that you want, and you just add the modifiers that you want, and
Yeah.
it
So
gives you
like
your spell.
you can change. So if you would want to do like a fireball, you can take an attack spell and then you just change the range. You had
You change
the
the
damage tape
damage
to
to burning,
burning. Yep,
and
and
that's
yeah,
a fireball.
you have a fireball now. It's still an attack spell because you're still doing an attack, but it's just that now it's a fireball. It wasn't a fireball beforehand, but now it is. If you want to do magic missile, well, you can do impale damage type, and then you can do a way longer range if you want, and then that'd be a magic missile. So every spell are like that. Like you can create pretty much every effect that you want with this guide. I think it would be good maybe at some point to have some example spell for sure, like a table of like regular spell people might use. But I really like the way that it's done right now, that you can create any spell and it's pretty easy. And you have so people are asking. Sorry, I just have a quick question. People are like, "What's the type of magic?" So the type of magic we have is magery, sorcery, and spirit, right?
Wizardry.
Wizardry. So spirit spring is in wizardry, like the.
So yeah, it's a sorcery spell. Spirit is a sorcery spell.
Okay, spirit is a sorcery spell. That's the one that you can make someone a ghost and stuff,
Yeah,
right?
so it's
Okay.
by default. So basically, it's putting or removing a curse on someone, or talking with ghosts or things like that, and you have the curses list here. So right now there are 4 or 5 curses, something like that.
Also, just a quick thing: skeleton are just zombie in more advanced decomposition.
Yeah, because
I really
that's
like
what
that.
it is.
Yeah, that's true.
Dude, I don't understand systems that the skeletons are different from zombies. It's the same freaking thing.
Yeah. So I have another question here from Emilio. Hey, Dylan and Zach, how about magic combined with machines? For sure, it's something that I really like. I'm a big fan of Starfinder. In Starfinder, there have like two main mage type, and one of them is really magic mixed with machines. It's not really developed yet. I don't think we talked about it, but that's something that for sure interests me.
Yeah, but there's also nothing that stops you from.
No, for sure, because you can just do drain or infuse on the machine. I guess that would work.
Yeah.
Because you can give bonus and stuff like that. But we'll need to talk on how to implement it. Actually, we don't even need to talk about it. We just need to try. That's really on the phase that we are. We need to try more stuff because we want to try as much stuff as possible. If you have ideas, if you have ideas for stories that you want to tell through a tabletop campaign and you're searching for a generic system, please use ours. It's just if something doesn't work, we're gonna check how it works, and
And we update it almost every week. Like we spent 2 weeks on this last update because it's freaking huge. We added like 20 pages of content. We added a lot of images. We corrected text. We adjusted some rules that.
A lot of rules.
We clarified things that weren't clear enough.
And if you want, also, I just want to do one last plug. If you want to talk with us about the game, just join the Discord server. We have a space on the Discord server that is for Battle for Diratia. We have 2 chat, Battle for Diratia and Battle for Diratia searching for group. So if you're searching with player to play with, just join the Discord server and you can talk about it. And all your comments will be taken and we'll check them. So we have another question I find really interesting. So are all the undead dead creatures similar in the game?
Let me go back to it.
You can, because you can turn any creature into a undead, whether it's a ghost lich.
That's one thing.
So you can you can do a dragon lich.
Yeah, you can do a dragon lich. You can do a centaur ghost. You can do a minotaur zombie, which is something that you don't really see often but I find really cool.
Yep.
So you don't have like one stat of this is a zombie, because you can make anything a zombie.
Yep. You can decide like, oh, I think a creature with 15 leg is pretty cool. Let's make it a zombie, and then you can have just like a bunch of leg zombie, which I really need to add into my Pirate Train game. The leg zombie. Hashtag more legs. Yeah, so that's the thing, is that since zombie is just it's just it's just a creature with the walking plague with different stats, and it cannot learn and does not heal, but it's any creature. So it's not just like a zombie isn't necessarily a medium human size slow walking zombie. You could have like a futuristic, I don't know, futuristic like Star Wars zombie. You can make a Jedi zombie, right?
Well, the 40K.
It would be really bad.
The 40K people would be saying Plague Marines, but well,
yeah.
I'm guessing. I don't play 40K, so I'm not gonna assume. But I'm guessing it's a bit like that. So you have zombies and space warriors mixed together.
So yeah, and since the system is really it's really the base, right? So the system is really based on which it's building blocks, right? So that's how zombie works. So that's why we have so much different type of zombie, is that you take anything that you want to make a zombie, you make it a zombie, and then you have it as a zombie. You take anything that you want to make a werewolf or were something, like you can make like a Norum Varax a werecat. Like, why not? Like, you can make like a dragon turn into a cat every full moon.
Yes, you actually
which is
you
can. There's no you just do lycanthropy, and now you have a werecat dragon, and that's it. Like, this is how we want the system to be. Is it possible to cure the zombies?
No.
Okay, zombified droid.
Yeah, actually you can. Well, if you remove the curse off of the person, but
they're still
they'll die. So
yeah,
it's not you become a zombie and then you can be healed back into someone.
Yeah, because that wouldn't make any sense to have like your skin grow back. Like, I mean, you could. Well, it would be kind of disgusting because you would have remade someone alive.
You could. You actually could with the magic rules. So you could remove the curse and then resurrect the person.
Yeah.
But that would be really hard.
You'd need like a pretty good magic circle for that.
Yeah.
You can't do it alone. I think that's impossible. Yeah, because our mage...
It's statistically improbable.
Yeah, because the way mages work is that mages can go into formation and do ritual circles. And we also have a question. Dalen want to use a Christmas format for the rest of December. I think that's a good idea. We should add some
What's a Christmas
lighting. Like some Christmas lighting over the world building part, like right here.
I can find something and add it during
the next. I think that would be worth it for the next Everfans show. By the way, for the people who
have a
it's going to be a big one in 2 weeks.
Yeah, so if you are an Everfans, if you backed us on Kickstarter for the Shadow of the Conqueror film, you want to be connected in 2 weeks. So Alex is going to be back on the show. I'm forcing him to be here. And he's going to talk with us, and Dawson's probably going to be here also, and we're all going to talk about where Shadow of the Conqueror is right now and what can you expect for the coming weeks, months for Shadow of the Conqueror. So I think that's cool. So yeah, and we have a Christmas special that is going to be coming for filmmaking with that Francis is working on. So that's the other thing. So I don't think I'll put a Christmas setup on for the videos except for the Christmas special.
Yeah, which is not a good thing to say Christmas special because because it has a bad rep in fantasy people to say Christmas special.
Okay, I understand what you mean. But I just mean that we're releasing an episode of filmmaking with on like probably the 23rd of December, so it's gonna be Christmas movies. That's what.
Yeah.
Full auto fireballs. You could.
Yes. It's really a good idea. I think I'm gonna try that. I really want to mix machines with magic. I'll find ways to do it within the system, and then I'll check if I need to modify some rules because it's something that I personally really enjoy. I've played Phantasy Star for over 20 years. It's still my favorite game of all time. So for me, like future Dungeon and Dragon is always my top thing. Starfinder is my favorite system for the universe because of that, and I always love that. And you can do it. I just need to try it out more. So we'll just hope that this pandemic will be less bad, so I can go do my group and try it out. Yeah, because in Fantasy Star, that's something that there is a lot. You know, you have gun that shoots fireball and stuff like that, and I want to mix both the machines and everything, the mag, like all these things. I think I'm gonna try to do a full Fantasy Star game inside Battle for Diratia. That'd be pretty cool. Why not? you know?
The next thing that's on the update list is the fighting from the formation.
Yep.
So basically, we redid the graphics again. We clarified some of them, and yeah, we removed the short-lived advanced formations and we merged them into the back into the formations, and we also changed how the formations worked, uh, because uh, basically if you had the same unit in the formation 12 times, it basically amounted to not much changing formation. So uh, we changed that so it's more relevant for using different units, for using the same unit in one formation, and it's also easier to calculate than before.
Yep. Yeah, I do really think the formation is something that I really didn't get even myself before that much. I tried to, but it was always kind of weird for me to understand. And with the new image, it really helped me a lot and changing the text to make it simpler. And now it's really easy to understand. It's really fun. Uh,
I wasn't
yep.
sure. I really find it funny, the square formation. Okay, I just need to talk about that. I at first it was just the front, and I didn't put the rear in the middle. But I was like, what if someone uses a flying creature and goes in the middle of the formation? What happens?
Well, he's in the rear of everyone.
Exactly. So I'm like, that's a cool concept of just adding the rear there. And
Yeah, because you can, yeah, if
if
you
someone
even,
decides to use a flying creature to
yeah,
land in the middle of a square formation,
yeah, I
they're in a
already did
really
that in
good position.
LARPing. I already LARPed that. At some point, I was in the middle of a group, and then I just started backstabbing everyone. Well, anyway, I was really young.
So
Magic
yeah,
artillery, yeah, I really think this is. What if the ammo for magic gun is crystal? I can do charging cell and do laser blaster or something. Do we have a way to store magic? Because I think that's important for magic
well,
cycle
that's gonna
stuff.
be the enchantments. That's not done yet.
Yeah. So okay, I'll start thinking about how we are gonna rule that. But yeah, if it's true enchantment, so you would enchain crystal, and then you would have like spell that you can use as
Yeah,
ammo,
something like
something
that.
like that. Yeah, that'd be great. By the
the
way,
the
a great
thing
idea.
the thing
Thank you,
about
Fireman.
enchantments is that they're often very OP for
Yeah.
it's
Well,
like,
well, it's hard to systematize something to make sense,
because
but
if you can just store magic non-stop, uh, basically you can just put a really really strong spell or multiple spells that you take a lot of time to prep and you don't care because you're not in a hurry right now, so you're just gonna make your enchanted weapon more and more and more powerful, and
Yeah,
then so and that's one thing with GURPS. So I had like some of my players that were like, okay, could I enchant my bow to have magic arrows that do a nuclear explosion when I use them?
well, yes.
And if you
Well,
follow the rules, you can.
yeah.
It's
But I think
just
that one way you can do it is just you just limit the amount of time it's stored, and you just upgrade the difficulty in which it takes to store it.
well, it
If
was
it
more difficult,
if it
but with
adds,
time
yeah,
you can also you can
well, it
always
depends because you still need to sleep.
yeah.
So, like, even if you pass 8 hours, if you pass 8 hours to enchant something and the enchantment lasts for 2 days, and then you have to sleep, and then the enchantment goes down in efficiency and it adds 4 of difficulties, you're like, well, was it really worth it? Well, maybe not for this particular weapon, but if you want to do magic artillery, yes, it is worth it. But it's kind of how we'll need to balance it, is make it really hard so people don't just go and storing an infinite amount of spell
Because
forever.
if you go like with D&D, enchanted weapons are just permanently enchanted.
Yeah.
So I have a +2 fire sword, and it's always
Yeah.
gonna do +2 fire damage.
Yeah,
It's
and
not.
also in
It's not like, okay, in a month, it's gonna stop doing fire damage.
yeah, which means you have an infinite amount of energy, so that doesn't make any sense with the thermodynamics rule. So if you can't follow thermodynamics with your magic, how is it even real? I'm joking. I'm joking, but it's still a bit interesting
Yeah.
thing too. So we're almost at the hours. I'm just gonna check if we have any more questions or stuff to read in the chat. I'm just gonna hope I didn't miss anything. If I miss any one of your questions, you can ask it right now, and I'll just make sure to check it. Hey guys, magic artillery. Yeah, that's a thing we were talking about. I was thinking attaching magic wand or putting magic substance in the weapon during construction of the weapon to make it magic. That's kind of a cool idea. I really like it. Like to use, like you build a weapon, then you infuse the crystal into the weapon. So you could like create a sword that is a fire sword and has like, let's say 15 batteries, and then you click on a button and then it just go fire, and it can do that 15 times before you have to like break the sword or something like that. That's a cool idea. For sure, we'll explore it. We need to work on the enchantment. I think that's will be for soon update because it is important for the kind of game I want to do, and we'll work on it for sure. Or limit the damage buff to be tenfold. What if the weapon will renovate? The shout, yeah, we can limit the damage, but the only thing is that if you want to have legendary equipment, which is possible, because if you would have billions and billions of dollars and you want to create the coolest weapon ever, we don't want to stop you. So that's why we don't limit damage. We don't limit most of the things in the system. The system doesn't have much limit. The limit are just statistical. Like you can be in the Stone Age and create a plasma gun. It is in the rule. It would cost you 400 million times the cost because of research
We
and
can actually
development.
calculate it if we go
So
here.
yeah.
So all the items of the ages before are accessible, obviously, but the prices of items after is 10x per age further. So if you're in the Stone Age and you want to buy an exotic age weapon, it's 10 times 12, so it's 120 times the price of the weapon, if I'm correct.
No, that's way more than that.
It's way more than that. Sorry.
No, it's 10x per thing.
No,
so it's like
it's 10 to the power of 12. Sorry. Power of 12. So that's 1,627,547 times the regular price.
Yeah, so if you want to make a
the
plasma rifle
gun, so plasma rifle, if we go into the burning weapons, plasma rifle costs 5K. So times 5.
Multiplied by 5.
So it's
by 5,000.
We have 5,000. So it's 8,137,739,570 to buy a plasma rifle in the Stone Age. Here you go, guys.
So it's billions of dollars in research and development, and you need to already know what you want to make too. So you need to have genius people, which doesn't really exist. You need to have pretty much all the money in the world at that time, and you need to put it all into constructing only one thing, and then you get one gun.
That's pretty much it.
They're pretty good.
So if you want to build an army of guys with plasma guns to fight against Stone Age people, then that's what it's gonna cost you. And I think that's really cool, just having that possibility.
Yeah, no, that's really good.
That's one actually that's one thing I didn't take into consideration when I did my Space Warriors versus my Redcoats that I showed you.
Well,
test. Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't take into consideration the age difference.
Yeah, but if you're time traveler, you're pretty much automatically going to be better than the people that you're time traveling to. So that's why they were completely exploding.
Okay, so basically, just to give you a bit of context, I can probably show you a few images. If I go here. Oh no, I'm not sure I want to show.
Yep. Well, we're past the hour, by the way. I just want to.
Okay, I'm just gonna show the images because we talked about it. Okay, so.
Yeah, sure.
Here are a few images of a quick playtest that I was doing of Redcoats versus Space Marine-like units, and basically each shot that the Space Marines were doing on the Redcoats were killing like 3 or 4 Redcoats.
Yep.
Which
makes sense.
Brutal.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's like Redcoats versus Space Marines. So.
Yeah. So yeah, that's a bit what's happening. So.
Well, anyway.
Let's end it here. So if you want to get a Diratia production shirt, you can get one.
Well, I don't think people will buy our shirts because it's pretty stupid in a way, but it's good for the crew. I have a couple of one, but unless you really want to support us. But I think that the best thing to support us would be to go to Patreon, or not even, just play the game. Right now that's the best way to support this game, is just download it and play it. For us, it's like worth everything. So if you want to support the game, just download it and try it out. It's free, and it helps us like so much.
Yeah, and guys,
that's it.
Just share it with your friends. Try it with your friends. Again, we really, really appreciate it when anyone tells us, "Hey, we did a game this weekend.
We're so happy.
This worked. This didn't work." And we're super happy to get this feedback and to make the game better. And that's one thing you're not gonna have with any other system.
Depends.
Updated.
Fate did it.
We update
but they were Kickstarter
constantly, and really our goal is exactly that: is to make the best game possible, based on the feedback we have and based on the goals we have. So. Here it is. Thanks everyone for being here. If you aren't already, but Emilio, I know you're subscribed.
Yes, we know you're subscribed.
Sure. But,
you can subscribe. You can add me on Facebook. By the way, Emilio, add me on Facebook if you want.
For anyone else, please subscribe. It's really appreciated. Go and take a look at our tabletop reviews. There is another one coming next week, if I remember correctly.
That's pretty cool.
So keep an eye open for that. And we'll see you in the next one. Have a great day.
Have a good day, everyone.